Hey, folks, welcome to Market Intraday Analysis by InTheMoneyStocks.com, your leaders in pure technical analysis, avoiding all that Wall Street hype. This video for Wednesday, February 15th, 2012 is sponsored by Realtic. All right, guys, a lot to discuss today. Markets are nearing the lows of the day. Good reversal off the highs of the day. This drop right here, you might wonder what exactly happened there. The fact is, Apple rolled over, a massive rollover on Apple after it was up about $15 to $20 this morning. The stock rolled over and went negative, and what a drop it was. Take a look at the Apple chart. If we put up the UUP chart, unbelievable drop here. Again, it gapped higher, moved higher all the way to the 526 and change range, and then rolled over. Now, the key is this. Everyone out there has been talking about, well, where's Apple going to pull back over the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Apple's up literally over $100 in the last month or so. And all of a sudden, today, we get a pop. And my master calculations say to short Apple today, right around the open. Sure enough, my members shorted anywhere from this range right here all the way to the highs of the day and are now enjoying huge gains. We're talking about massive gains on puts, 125% gains on puts, 100% gains on puts, shorts in the money, anywhere between $5, $10, $15, $20 per share now in the money on the puts, and all a matter of seeing the hot charts and alerts, which I had put out a couple days ago, saying this is your trigger price on Apple. It's going to go to this range. When it gets there, that's your pivot top. This is a calculation based on proprietary things. And when it triggers, oh, it triggers. And the market, again, if on Apple collapsing, and Apple, again, is the market right now. Apple being up earlier was driving the markets up. Even the SPY, the spiders, the S&P 500, all across the range. You saw the Qs, really the NASDAQ and the Qs. Apple makes up 20% of the NASDAQ 100. So, I mean, if Apple's going like it was this morning, it was just dragging the NASDAQ up. And even Google, Amazon, Baidu, they were all flat to negative earlier today. But because Apple was up so strongly, it was taking the index with it. And all of a sudden, we're seeing Apple have a massive rollover. Right now, trading at around 508.90. It got as low as 502. I ultimately think it's going to go into the 475, 480 range before it gets any significant bounce over the next few days. And again, those of you that picked it up, those of you that are members of the Research Center, congratulations. Enjoy your profits. If you're not a member, come to InTheMoneyStocks.com and take the 7-day free trial. You'd get the same information. If you were a free trial member, you got the same as the regular members. Obviously, you make this type of money, 100% on your puts, those of you that took puts or whatever, and you're going to be a member for life because you're making so much money, and that's what we do here. All right, a lot of people out there were all about, oh, we got to short the market 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and we kept on saying, don't do it. The market's in this range. Wait for specifics. And on Apple today, we hit that specific. And sure enough, beautiful reversal on Apple today. Look at that fall today. A 3-bar surge to the downside of epic proportion. Going back to the SPY, we just got the Federal Reserve minutes out, and that's why we have this nice little red candle here, which took us just off the lows of the day. We did just close below the 200 moving average for the first time today. Now let's see if we can get some continued downside. Markets remain extremely extended. Extremely extended. But the question is, can the volume be heavy enough? Yesterday, we had a nice down day going, and then a buy program by the Federal Reserve and the institutions lifted this market right into the close and just whipped all the shorts out. So now everyone's very nervous today. All right, the markets are heading lower, but are we going to see another buy program to rip the markets back to the positive side like yesterday? And again, you can't blame them for being nervous when there's this type of manipulation. But bottom line is, if you know your levels and you know what's going on, you will avoid the hype on Wall Street and you will profit. That's simple. All right, so again, look at where the market opened. Interestingly enough, the spiders opened just slightly above this pivot high. We sold off, then we made a new high. But if those of you that are following us at InTheMoneyStocks.com that are members, you know this was a river theory right here, and it failed. Therefore, any sort of pop cannot be taken seriously. And sure enough, we see the pullback here in the markets as it comes down. And now the spiders are just about 10 cents off their lows of the day. Again, next support on the spiders will be around the 134.60 level. And then if you get through that, you're looking at a level of around 134.30 as your next major level of support. Good sell-off on the spiders continuing here. We are seeing the SPY continue to head lower. Going to the daily chart, folks, look at this little candle today. Pretty ugly candle. Biggest red candle we've had since really back here when we had a gap up and sell off as well. But nonetheless, it's a matter of this resistance area, the 135.60 level, that has been firm. Let me show you where this level has been going or where it's coming from. And again, this is a level I've talked to you guys even in these free videos about as being resistance. Sure enough, it's right here at the 135.60 pivot high from July 7th, 2011. And again, market's having a lot of trouble to get through. In addition, if you look at the Qs chart, chart, which is the NASDAQ 100. Look at this possible topping signal. It's an ugly chart. In addition, you have not touched the 20 moving average in an amazing amount of time, which tells me, again, the Qs are ready to pull back. The only reason the Qs have not pulled back yet is because simply of Apple. Apple's just been going parabolic. If you look at the daily Apple chart, by the way, I mean, look at this chart on Apple. It's a crazy chart. This is a blow-off top, by the way. If you zoom in, look at the volume today. We're only a little after 2 p.m. Eastern time, and this is what you call a blow-off top when you have that big pop and reversal and massive volume. Biggest volume of the year in Apple, and actually today we will do well over 40 million, which will take out this pivot high on volume going back to last year. So it should be the highest, one of the highest, if not the highest day on volume in terms of Apple shares. All right. And again, anyone thinking to buy Apple, and there's a lot of amateurs that were buying over the last couple days on Apple, guys. That's why we kept on going up. Anyone thinking to do that is just insane. I mean, how you buy a stock that's run up, I don't care if it's, God himself that you're buying stock in. It just doesn't make sense when it's that extended. You can't do that, folks. All right, learn the methodology and profit for life. Apple is now in the 507 range as it heads back down, only about $5 off the lows of the day, down about $1.50. And the reversal today is the key. The fact that this thing was at 526 and change and is now at 508, about a little less than $20 sell-off from the highs right now. And again, you can see the low of the day right here. All right. What else do we want to talk about here? Let's go to a couple other charts. The other thing that I was pointing out to members today, when we saw Apple going higher and the markets were actually higher on the day, the one thing that kind of caught my attention was that no other leading stocks were positive. It was a dead-on signal we could reverse. All right, for instance, JP Morgan. Look at the chart on JPM. It gaps up and just sells right off immediately. Even when the market was making new highs around 10 o'clock, 10:30, JPM had turned to the negative side. And again, JPM down 31 cents. It's not a big move down on JPM, but it's the fact that it was just heading straight down. If you go back to the spiders intraday here, all right, notice how the market makes a new high here on the SPY at around 11:30 actually. And then if you go back to JP Morgan, which is a leading stock, a major component of the Dow Jones Industrial Average, at 11:30, JP Morgan's making a low before a bounce. So you can see the divergence there. And again, look at ExxonMobil, another great indicator. Exxon opens up and just sells straight off. It wasn't participating in the SPY. This was Apple-driven and Apple-driven alone. And again, the results are in for themselves, and you can see them, all right? So again, a great reversal on the markets. Now the question again in my mind is, can the reversal hold? Do we end near the lows of the day, or does a buy program, a manipulation buy program, come in and save the markets like yesterday? It was one of the most manipulated buy programs I've ever seen in my life, to be honest. Reminded me of 2009, right off the lows when PPT was involved and so forth. But bottom line is, take a look at Google here. Google wasn't participating in the rally at all, even with Apple going higher. Google was selling off and going negative. All the leading stocks out there, even look at Amazon. Let's take a look at Amazon here, which is in the tech sector as well. Even this stock was basically negative all day long and is now getting crushed to the downside. So these signals you have to be aware of. And Apple's now at 506 and going lower, guys. So I think this goes below $5 today. I actually do. 500, I should say, not $5 per share. $500 per share. All right, and again, this is awesome stuff. Those of you in the short with me in Apple, enjoy it. This is where the profits are made. It's all about timing and precision in terms of calculations based on the proprietary analysis here at InTheMoneyStocks.com. You find the levels, you know the levels, you short the levels or go long the levels depending on which way it's going, and make money. Okay? Amazon getting a small bounce off the lows, but still down $6. Let's take a look at the dollar. The dollar after those Fed minutes has actually popped up a little bit, so nice little jump in the dollar. That's why the markets are selling off a little bit here. If we go back to the spiders on an intraday basis, you can see we just made a new low of the day here and are now popping back up just a tiny bit. But bottom line is, markets continue to see some weakness here. I'm not going to spend much time on other charts, guys. I usually give you guys a little analysis on other charts. I don't have the time today. Frankly, this is action in the market. Action is for me to be trading and profiting myself and giving it to my members. If you want to come here, take the 7-day free trial to the intraday stock chat, to the research center. Research center is geared for swing traders, and intraday stock chat more for day traders. Come here, join the 7-day free trial, and then you can just listen to me give live analysis all afternoon in the chat room, and then I'll give you the videos tonight to make sure you guys are fully prepped and ready to rock and roll for tomorrow. All right, guys, have a great afternoon. Back to trading I go. It's time to profit even more this afternoon after I already have, as well as my members. Take care.